In the middle of the summer of 1982, Jerry Lawler got momentum back by defeating Kamala for the Southern Heavyweight Championship, but the rivalry would not end there. Lawler had a lot of friends and foes so far in 1982, but another alleged friend would make his way onto TV in Memphis. Jim Cornette.
I wanted to talk for just a second with Jimmy Cornette, if we could.
Well, we've been talking with Jimmy about his career.
Well, you know,
trying to get in
now a lot of people don't know Jimmy Cornette yet, but Jimmy's been around wrestling, as he says, for a long, long time, and he's probably the greatest. Jimmy is probably the greatest wrestling photographer that I've ever seen. And I know, I get a lot of pictures from him. I have a whole room, the entire room is wallpapered with my pictures that Jimmy Cornette has taken, and he's got money. You know, he's talking about money, I know, because he charges enough for those pictures. But, and his mother, you talked about your mother. I heard you talking about your mother. That's really nice. It's really nice when a guy feels that way about his mother, that he would come out here in front of thousands of people and talk about it like this. His mother is loaded, Lance. She is rich. She is so rich. She's got alligator bags under her eyes. That's how much money she's got. I want to say. Well, now, that's kind of a low term, Jerry. No, I'm not. I'm only kidding about that. But she's a fine lady, and Jimmy and her are real close, and I understand that she is going to finance your endeavor. And
what Jimmy was telling us.
Well, that is wonderful. Does she also pick out your clothes and everything for you, Jimmy? Well, she helps me.
Cornette was in the territory wanting to find a wrestler to manage by using his mother's money to pay a wrestler.
You remember, Lance, when you were a kid, little kid, and your mother say, "Okay, time to go to the shoe store," and you'd say, all the kids got Nikes or tennis shoes. I want some tennis shoes. But no, your mother would always buy you a pair of shoes like this. Look at this.
Oh, Jerry, you're terrible.
Did you get a shot of the shoes? Come on, just real quick. Have they got a shot of them yet? There you go. All right. Those are typically bought mother dress shoes, and the boxer shorts. If you buy you the boxer shorts, well, I've got a couple of pairs, but
okay.
No, he's a good guy. Now, are you making fun of me? No, I'm not making fun of you.
Let me get back into something. I know you're a particularly good friend of Jimmy's, and
the reason I want to come out, I'm just kind of teasing with him a little bit. I think a lot of people, because he says he wants to be a manager, got the wrong impression about Jimmy. Jimmy is a fine young man. How old are you, Jimmy?
He is.
I'm 20. He's 20 years old, and his mother is taking good care of him up to now. He gets something wrong with him, she coddles him, pampers him.
You are incorrigible. That's what you are.
Jimmy, but that's okay. Everything's fine.
Let me ask you this. Now, how about signing? He's a good friend of yours. Jimmy's ready to go. He's expressed an interest in it. I know he's talked to you and mentioned something to you about it.
No, he's talked to me
about signing up with it.
Well, like I said, Jimmy is a fine young man, and I'm sure that he and his mother probably know a lot about wrestling from taking pictures and everything. But I haven't had that good luck lately with managers, so probably, Jimmy, if you look, find somebody else to be good. There's a lot of guys with the kind of money you got.
I would pay any price for you because you are the best. I've been a fan of yours for a long time. You know that.
Okay, but I'll pass on that offer. I appreciate it anyway, Jimmy. Thank you. Anyway, I just wanted to come out and have a little fun with you.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Jerry.
Cornette tried with Lawler and Bill Dundee, but they kept giving him shit.
Cornette, how you doing?
Jimmy wanted me to call you over here. He was out with us watching the match in there and had some very kind things to say, as a matter of fact, during the kicking there. Okay, Jimmy.
Bill, I want to make an announcement. You know what I've been doing the past couple of weeks. I've been going around, I've been scouting talent, and I've tried to find somebody that I want to manage. And after last week, I think you saw what happened. You were probably watching on the monitor or something. Jerry Lawler insulted me. And so I've been narrowing my list down just a little bit, and he, as my top choice, was crossed off the list. And so what I want to do right now...
So what you're telling me is... I was your second choice, right?
Well, no, what I want to do is I want to make my first public offer. I want to make my first public offer. I want to offer you the chance to be managed by me. You couldn't hear what I was saying over here. I can make you...
He ain't making his first public offer. What you're making is your second public office, so I'm just going to tell you something, Jimbo. I don't like being second to nobody and nothing. Jerry was obviously your first choice, so you just go back and talk to the king and see what he's going to say back.
Now, let me tell you something, Jerry. You came out here last week. You made fun of my shoes. You made fun of my clothes. This man has... I thought you had class, but you don't.
Oh, Jimmy. Now, wait a minute.
Bill Dundee has class.
Calm down a little bit, Jimmy. Now, don't get so excited out here. I didn't make fun. Wait a minute.
Now, Lance,
wait a minute. Lance, fill this suit. Did your mother dress you this morning? This is a heavy wool suit. It must be 90 degrees outside. She put you in a winter suit today like this? Now, if you want some respect, come down here and act like an intelligent human being. Don't come down here like a little wimp like this and let your mother dress you.
I make this man a public offer. I can get him some publicity. I can do something that you don't realize what I can do for you. I've got access to as much money as I want. He isn't going to get the chance, but you are. If you want to take it, but you turn me down. I'm Jimmy Cornette. I get what I want. I'm not used to being treated this way. I just all right, you see this? You see this right here, Dundee? Come here, you see this?
Oh, a little different.
You see this? Lawler, that was your name, Dundee. That's yours. I'm sick of being treated this way. I'm fed up with all of you. If you don't want, I can do something.
This eventually got to Cornette, who was pissed at Lawler.
Find out about was a little bit about Jimmy Cornette's plans to be a manager, and Jimmy, I know that you have had a moment or two of rough treatment out here, but you know, I guess that's all part of it.
Lance, I'm glad to be here today, even though I've had to buy this time. The past couple of weeks, I've been the object of ridicule, of embarrassment, of abuse, of anything else that you want to call it at the hands of Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee while you stood by watching.
I was here.
My family name has been embarrassed. And although Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee don't seem to take me very seriously, I'm not the object of ridicule that the entire country, that they would have people believe the entire country thinks I am. A notebook with a list of no less than 15 names that my mother's attorneys have had serious commitments with, and I don't want to reveal anyone. The book will stay closed. But to name drop just a little bit, because I am pretty happy about it. Terry Funk, Dory Funk Jr., Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, all either present or past NWA World Heavyweight Champions, and that's where the book will stay. I think that's enough. But as to Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee, they seem to want to drag my family name down through the mud, and I'm upset about it, and my mother's upset about it. I talked to her. She's been watching me, and she was not happy at all, because the Cornette family name is one that's been respected for a long time. It has a rich heritage, and it's not something that some lowlife can come and just on national TV drag down through the mud like that. And so she said, what are we going to do about it? And I said, well, Mama, why don't we put a bounty out on them? And she said, no, that's too low. That's not something that we would do, but in business land, there's things known as incentives. And now, what we've done is put a $5,000 cash incentive for anyone that wrestles Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee and ends the match to my satisfaction. Do you understand that?
Well, I'm a little disappointed in the attitude. Hey, Jerry, come on. No. Hey, come on, Jimmy. Now, leave him alone. Tell you what, let's take a break. Let's take a break. Now, we're going to take a break. Take a break.
Earlier in the summer of 1982, the Southern Tag Championships had changed hands several times between the Midnight Express and Ron Bass and Stan Lane. The tag titles changing hands multiple times a month would not change in the second half of the summer. Eventually, Bobby Eaton and Sweet Brown Sugar won the titles.
Sugar holds up. And Terry Taylor drop-kicked him into Keirn, and Keirn still gets him with a forearm. Terry slipped out of the way. Eaton in the wrong corner had his hand up to tag, and Steve Keirn did the tagging, but right on the button, take the forearm. Whip into the corner. Keirn. Monkey flip as he tagged Terry Taylor on the way down. Beautiful drop kick. Sugar runs into Eaton for the abdominal stretch. Can't get a good hook on. Beautiful Bobby. Jimmy Hart jumped up on the ring apron while the referee was separating Sugar and Keirn. Brown Sugar. Sugar whipped him in. Big clothesline, and boy did he string him out. And beautiful Bobby, a knee to the midsection. Tag on Sugar. At the 10-minute mark, Terry Taylor blistered and put down on the mat where Eaton and Sugar double teaming again. Taylor taking quite a pounding. Double team. Sugar out. Eaton stays in. He's way back up. Big shoulder, and Taylor may go to the well one too many times. He does a sunset flip, but Sugar right down on top. Approaching the 14-minute mark in action. Taylor now going for the corner, and there's a tag on Steve Kiern, but Bobby Eaton started through the ropes. The referee was keeping him out again. He did not see Steve Kiern. Kiern about to have a piece of the referee. The second time he's tagged, but the referees missed it. And Steve just says to heck with it and comes after Sugar and Eaton. He pulls, that's going to be a disqualification. "14 minutes, 23 seconds. The winners and still champions are Sweet Brown Sugar and beautiful Bobby Eaton.
Only to lose them 2 weeks later to Steve Kiern and Terry Taylor. One week later, in a Texas death match, Eaton and Sweet Brown Sugar not only would win the titles back, but injure Steve Kiern in the process.
The tag on Steve Kiern. Wow, what an escape for Terry Taylor. He needed that as a fresh Steve Kiern comes booming in, lands Sugar and Eaton low. Distracting Steve Kiern. And this fourth fall is on and on and on. And Eaton now over with Steve, who is caught in the rope. And Eaton pulls the chair up, nails Kiern right in the elbow. And referee Paul Morton didn't see Taylor take a pile driver. on that bandaged elbow of Steve Kiern. Steve is caught in the top two ropes, and Eaton is about 6 times hit him right in the elbow. Terry Taylor laid out by a pile driver, put on by Sweet Brown Sugar.
When I first became a professional wrestler, I never imagined sitting in a bed with my arm bandaged up and having to ask somebody else to fight my battles for me. But after what happened to me at the hands of your two goons, Hart, and me undergoing surgery, I realized that I'm in no position to fight for myself. So I've come to a friend, and I've asked him as a friend. There's no money involved in this, Hart. Bill Dundee and I are close friends. We were champions together. We were tag team partners together, and he fights like I do, Hart. So I know the man is capable of injuring somebody. And I've asked him as a friend that any time that he gets the opportunity to injure one of y'all.
That's right, man. You know, when I left him a couple of days ago, the man was depressed. He was way down. It was hard for him to talk in that interview. When we showed up with that camera, he said, "Oh, no, man, take it away. I don't even want to talk to nobody. I don't want nobody to see me like this." Well, let me tell you something, Hot. It's bad enough when you just walk around and you go to a desk job and something happens to you and you can't do that. But anybody that plays football, baseball, or professional sport of any kind need everything that they got, from the little finger to the little toe. If anything happens to you, you're never as good as you are. Well, on Steve Kiern's bed, like on a little jar, there's a piece of bone about this big that they had to cut off the elbow, Hot, because you and that chocolate drop and that Bobby Eaton beat on him with that chair. Now, I'm going to tell you something, Hot. The man called me up and he said, "Bill," he said, "I hate to even do this." He said, "But I can't do it by myself, man." He said, "Me and you drove up and down the road together. We had a million laughs." He said, "And I'm out of the wrestling business." Well, let me tell you something, Daddy. If it's the last thing I can do, I'm going to kill one of them jerks that did it, Daddy, because I loved him like a brother. And I'm going to tell you something, Hot. The man may be done. He may be finished. He may not be able to feed his family. If it's the last damn thing I do, Hot, I'm going to kill you, Jack.
When I started, Steve was instrumental in getting me going, like he said. And I feel like as a friend, you know, he asked me to be his tag team partner. And it was my way of coming back and helping Steve. He said, "We can win those belts." And, you know, Steve was the leader of this leader, and he took me and he helped. We did whatever we could, and then we won those titles by the rules. When those guys come out, they did it on purpose. They broke his arm. Well, injuries are part of wrestling. But the way this happened, that doesn't belong in wrestling at all. Well, I'll tell you, Steve, you're a friend of mine. I'm going to tell you right now, anything I can do to help you and your family, if that's it, I'll do it. I'm telling you right now, Hart, Coco, where, Bobby, I don't care where it is. I'm going to do it, and it's going to be for Steve.
Dundee would take Keirn's place, tagging with Terry Taylor, but Eaton and Brown Sugar held them off. But earlier in the summer, Dundee had defeated Bobby Eaton to become Mid-American Champion, and Dutch Mantel was not happy about it.
I'm not going to take up a lot of time, but I've been sitting in the back and I have been steaming, brother, because all I've been hearing is Ric Flair and Jimmy Hart and Lawler and Dundee and all this, and they got their own thing going. But let me say one thing. Belts and titles mean a lot. The Southern Belt means a lot, and the Mid-America Belt means a great deal. Now, I'm going to stand out here today in front of 350,000 people, but the man I want to talk to right now is the man who owns that Mid-America Belt, and that's the belt I'm after, Bill Dundee. And I want him to come out here, and I want him just to answer a few questions. That's all I want him to do. Now, I don't want Eddie Marlin. I don't want to talk to Eddie Marlin. I want to talk to Dundee. Because Dundee is the man who has the Mid-America Belt. And how many weeks did I come out here and challenge Bobby Eaton for a match? How many weeks? Well, a lot of weeks, right?
You did, right.
A lot of weeks I challenged him. And now here comes Bill, and I want now, no trouble, okay? Okay, we're supposed to have a match. And how many weeks did I come out here and challenge Bobby Eaton for a match? And you know why you won in the first place? Okay, I came out here. Did I or did I not come out here on TV and help you? Did I? Wait a minute. Did I? Did I not sit Jimmy Hart down in this chair so you can beat Bobby Eaton?
Well, I'd have done the same for you. You've been on the same day. You never asked me to do
wait a
the
minute
thing.
now.
Yeah,
There's no big
okay,
question.
okay. You kept Hart there, and I beat Bobby Eaton.
Okay, you beat, but everybody knows you can beat Bobby Eaton straight up. It was Jimmy Hart that you got to worry about. I neutralized Jimmy Hart. So actually, what I am, I'm a co-holder of that Mid-America Belt.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do with you, Dutch. And if you think you own the belt, you wear the belt the week, and I'll wear the week. Okay?
No. Don't get smart. Don't get smart. Hey, why don't you put the belt up against me, Dundee? Now, I come out here 3 or 4 weeks in a row. Now, what I got to wait? For you to lose the belt or retire or what? I don't like being in first matches, and I'm not going to be in first matches because I'm after that belt. Okay, Ric Flair comes in here. He's going to wrestle the Southern Champion. What if the Southern Champion has a car wreck? The Mid-American Champion will probably take his place. It's like a card game. You got to play your cards right. And I'm going to say one thing. Hey, we're friends, right?
But I want some satisfaction. I want a match. That's all I want. I just want a shot at it, baby. Well, I'll tell you what you do, Dutch. When you go back and talk to Eddie Marlin, when he says, Bill, sign your name here, and you sign it, I'll sign it. You'll sign it. That's right. But not until he does the thing.
Oh, wait a minute.
Come on, Dutch.
The ladder's 9 feet tall, brother. You was
No, I don't
Now
think
you're
that's
down
right.
the bottom. You never beat Keirn.
No
Did he
trouble.
beat
Now,
Keirn?
let's not have any trouble out here, please.
Mantel wanted his title back and would go so far as to attack Dundee.
We're not going to have any trouble.
Come on, Dutch. Dutch. Eddie. He just hauled off and hit him.
With Mantel's new aggression, Jimmy Hart was trying to recruit him into his family.
What I want to talk about is to you, Dutch Mantel. Now, Dutch, I want you to pay attention. If he's not looking back, somebody please get him back there because this is important, baby. When Dutch Mantel was in the family, Dutch had the Southern belt and the Mid-America belt. Am I right or wrong?
That's true.
And he was my first lieutenant when I had the family back then when Dutch was with us. But then Dutch, he went and started talking to Lawler and Dundee and all these people, and they swayed him over, and they said, man, you don't need to be with Jimmy Hart because Jimmy Hart will cheat you. He is no good. But now, where's Dutch Mantel? He is in Never Never Land. He don't have no belt. All he's got is that old whip of his. So what I'm trying to say, Dutch, is you need to be in the family, baby. I'll tell you exactly what happened. Listen, think about it, Dutch. Now think, why in the world are you fighting Kamala on TV today? Do you have a championship match with him? You don't. Well, let me tell you why. Exact the reason why everything's like it is now, baby. Eddie Marlin and Dundee are just like that. Just like that. They live close to each other. Matter of fact, Dundee cuts Eddie Marlin's grass. He polishes his car. He goes over to Eddie Marlin and says how pretty that big old pimply-faced, ugly wife of his looks. He goes, oh, she looks so thin. She's so gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? And I can just see him out there now polishing Eddie Marlin's car, polishing around. And he said, you know, Eddie, come here, Eddie. You know, Eddie's hard of hearing, so we had to call him way over to him and said, Eddie, listen, man, I just been thinking, matter of fact, I love his car, but, you know, I've been thinking that Dutch Mantel, boy, he is pretty tough, you know, and it's a rough match. And I ain't scared of him now, but I just thought, why don't you maybe put him and Kamala on TV, and maybe Kamala might hurt Dutch, and then when I fight Dutch this week, Dutch, man, he won't even be able to get in the ring me. A lot of people trying to sign me. Jimmy Cornette's trying to sign me. You're trying to sign me. But I'm a free agent, Hart. I'm my own man. And you're not a dumb man. You're a very smart man. But I'm going to say one thing, Hart. I wouldn't sign with you if you were the last man on earth. I would not sign with you because I was with you one time and I got screwed around, right or not? And I don't have nothing to do with it. But you are right about one thing. There's no need me to wrestle Kamala today because no belts are up, nothing can be accomplished. So he's right about one thing. I'm not wrestling Kamala.
Mantel turned down the match with Kamala, so Jerry Lawler came out to face him instead.
Eddie. Dutch went walking out and said he's not going to wrestle.
I can't imagine him backing out of the match, but I'll deal with him later. But Jerry Lawler has agreed to take his place so we can still have a match.
I'm the one that beat that big Ubangi, and I did it then, and I can do it any day of the week. Do you understand that?
Change in it. All right. This is no bad substitution in here as the match is underway very quickly.
At the end of the summer, Dutch Mantel would get his Mid-American Championship back from Dundee. The NWA World Champion Ric Flair came to Memphis for the very first time.
I want to admit to you, and I want to apologize to a lot of people out there, I've had the wrong impression of Memphis. You know, I got off my jet today, and they had a real big airport here. And I even saw a couple Cadillacs on the highway as I came over here to the TV station. And you, contrary to my belief, from what I'd heard, are a real literate TV announcer. And Memphis really is showing me a lot more class than I was led to believe.
You know, I got here early. I was supposed to wrestle. I see, you know, they don't have my name on the list.
No, it's not.
They had me down against Pat Hutchinson. Now, you and I know you could beat Pat Hutchinson, couldn't you, Lance?
Hey, come on.
So I got dressed. And Eddie Marlin says, you're wrestling Pat Hutchinson? I said, scratch me off the list. Eddie, it's no use me even wasting my time. But I would like, before I leave today, I would like to have the opportunity to shake hands with Ric Flair, the World Heavyweight Champion.
Lawler and Flair came face to face, and Lawler would goad the NWA champion into a match.
About it. And there he is, right here. Here he comes. The NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Ric Flair.
Ric Flair of the world.
Welcome you to this area.
What was the name?
Come on. You know me as well as you know, well, you don't know Lance, but you know, we've wrestled on a lot of cards with Florida just a couple of weeks ago. Jerry Lawler, you know that. But, I mean, you know, I understand completely. Look, he's got that little devilish smile there. I know Rick very well.
I agreed to come to Memphis, Tennessee because the world champion should give everyone an opportunity to see big-time professional wrestling at its best. But Jerry Lawler, I believe they call him the king over here in Memphis, is not going to take up any time of the world champion. I see there's a lot of women in this audience over there that are dying for me to slide out of the $7,000 robe. And Mr. Lawler, when I get through with, what's his name?
Rick McCord.
When I get through with Mr. McCord, I'll be back. How's that sound?
let me say this now. It's all, you know, it's plain to see that you are here for one reason, and that is to impress all of these pretty women that you see sitting in the audience, and there are some pretty ones. You know, I heard you say that you had heard a lot about this area, about, you know, that maybe it's all rednecks and that kind of thing down here, but I think you can see from the people here that you were misinformed. And you want to, being the world champion that you are, the great, undoubtedly, as you said earlier, the greatest wrestler in the world today. Is that right? Well, okay. What you need to do here,
I couldn't have said that better myself.
you want to impress these people. You want to look as good as possible today in front of this thousands of people that are watching. Now, I'm going to tell you something about Rick McCord. Now, I like Rick McCord, and this is no offense to Rick at all, but Rick is a young wrestler. He's fairly inexperienced. And I think it's safe to say that Rick has never won a match here on this television. Am I correct?
I don't remember it if he did.
I'm not saying that as a knock to Rick. I'm saying it because the man is inexperienced. Now,
these people over here have come to see me against anybody. It could be you. It could be, who's the little guy with the dark hair? What's his name? What do they call him?
Bill Dundee.
Oh, Bill Dundee. It could be anybody. Ric Flair, the greatest. Ric Flair, the legend. Ric Flair, your world champion, and all these people out here, world champion. So, it's no different. You want me to wrestle somebody else? Give me somebody else. Competition is all secondary next to Ric Flair.
why don't you and I go in the ring? Now, listen, like I said, no, wait. Listen, wait a minute, Rick.
I think the folks like that.
It's obvious to you that even I'm not in your caliber. Nobody in this area is in your caliber. So when you beat me, you're going to impress these people. They will be impressed. Why don't we really make this interesting? Why don't we make everybody out there at home excited, all of these people really excited, make this the most interesting and exciting show that there's ever been on wrestling, and put the world title up for just the 10 minutes.
But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Because you're a big deal around here. Because I even saw you on TV the other night. Well, you were a real big deal the other night. Tell you what I'm going to do for you, what I'm going to do for you, and I'm going to do for Memphis. Because I think it's long overdue. You get in that ring, the belt will be on the line, and I'm going to pull you through your hoop, Daddy.
Well, you heard it right there. Ric Flair said he would put the title on the line. David, here we go.
Oh, world title match. NWA World Championship belt on the desk in front of us here. It is at stake in a 10-minute time limit match as Lawler challenges Ric Flair.
Puts the belt on the line. That's good enough for me. And I can tell you this, that it's sure good enough for Lawler. Flair moves in, bangs him with that shoulder, takes it around and under. And Lawler and a reversal. Well, he didn't beat him in 30 seconds.
No, that's true. He was unable to do that. Of course, he never said he would. Lawler said he probably could, but Lawler can make Ric Flair use a lot of energy in trying to work his way out of this hole. He fires Lawler to the ropes. Lawler coming off of there. Flair lets him go by. Lawler ducks under. Reversal by Lawler.
Lawler slips the suplex. He's around behind on a sleeper with Flair. And good. Nice. Flair got the momentum forward and wanged into the ropes. Lawler went sliding right off and really hit his head on that floor. On the time limit, Lawler whipped in. Big elbow. Referee Jerry Calhoun reminding Flair about the pile driver, Dave, I believe.
You're right. Looks like that's what he was going for.
1, 2, and Lawler again. Suplex. Flair straight up in the air, and Lawler crushed down on that mat at the 30-second mark. We've got 30 seconds to go. He's going figure 4 leg lock. He's got Lawler in it. And our time is winding down. That's it. 10-minute time limit is up.
5 more minutes. 5 more. Hey, no question. The world champion wants 5 more minutes, but the world champion wants the world championship.
Okay, well, we're off and running on it. Because Flair going after Lawler. This is an extended Ric Flair. He's driven back into the corner, and the King right now being brutalized. Look out. There's that Lawler move, and he nails Flair. Lawler knuckling Ric Flair in this extra 5 minutes. Is Flair holding on, Dave? Ooh.
Flair taking a breather out here, getting out of the ring. After Lawler, it's been all Lawler in this second 5 minutes.
Flair grabs his belt.
In the end, Flair ran away from Lawler for the countout, and Flair would hook up with Jimmy Hart to put a bounty on Lawler.
Produce a contract. Show me a contract that said I wrestle for the world championship. Show it to me. You're a big deal in this town. You're a big man. Show me a contract. You don't like it exist. You think you're talking to some country hitch like this town's made out of? You're talking to the world champion, brother. This seems to be the only man in the whole town that I can look in the eye and believe. You understand what I'm telling you? He's like me. He likes nice clothes. He likes a good laugh. He likes the soft touch of a pretty woman. And he likes money. So let me show you something, brother. Don't you walk away either. I don't care if you're a multi-millionaire, Eddie Marlin.
What is happening here?
Hey, don't you worry. When I turn around, I'll tell you what's happening. My personal check. And brother, if you don't think this is as good as gold, call anywhere in the country. Anywhere. I got more money and more banks around the United States than any man alive. $10,000. You know what this is for? Because I want you to bring me the blood and the sweat and the guts of Jerry Lawler. And you, for trying to intimidate me, for trying to pull something off, are going to have to watch the slow destruction of your big-time hero. You understand what I'm telling you? I don't care if you're a multi-millionaire. You don't. Yeah, well, take this and take this. It's my word. $10,000, brother. I'll sign the check the day you deliver to me a piece of